When the first electric guitar riffs scream across Villa Park on July 5, 2025, the air will thicken with more than just sound. It will be alive with memory, legacy, and the unrelenting pulse of a genre born from steel and struggle. This isn't merely another rock concert. This is a chapter closing on one of music's most influential stories. Black Sabbath, the architects of heavy metal, reunite in their original, legendary formation for the final time. And at the heart of this homecoming stands a figure larger than life itself, Ozzy Osbourne. The Prince of Darkness, the wild child of rock. A man whose every scar tells a story, whose every stumble and rise has been lived out in public view. And now, returning home, not as a fallen figure, but as a conquering hero, closing his saga where it all began, Birmingham. There is poetry in this moment. A full circle drawn not with pen, but with guitar strings, cracked vocals, and the roar of thousands. Where once stood a young boy surrounded by soot and hardship, now stands a legend bidding farewell. Birmingham is not just a backdrop in this story. It is a character. The industrial streets, the smoke-stained skies, the hum of factories, they shaped a sound that would ignite a global revolution in music. Heavy metal didn't emerge from luxury or comfort. It was born from grit, forged in adversity, and polished by rebellion. Ozzy's words still echo, "It's my time to go back to the beginning, time for me to give back to the place where I was born." Birmingham is the true home of metal. Birmingham forever. These aren't just sentimental reflections. They are a promise, a final gift to the city that raised him. The concert's proceeds will go to Birmingham's charities, ensuring that this swan song uplifts not only spirits but lives. In the end, the boy from Aston gives back to the streets that shaped him. John Michael Osborne, born in 1948, never had an easy road. His childhood was painted in shades of gray skies, gray walls, and the gray uncertainty of working-class life. Yet within that drab world burned a restless spirit hungry for escape. Music was his escape. The Beatles lit the first spark, but it was with Black Sabbath that the flames roared to life. Together with Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, he didn't just form a band. They built a new genre. A sound so heavy, it shook the earth beneath their feet. Songs like Paranoid, Iron Man, and War Pigs weren't mere entertainment. They were battle cries for the disillusioned. For the working class, for the misfits, for the restless souls trapped in cities that offered little hope. Yet even as their fame skyrocketed, the struggles remained. Addiction, infighting, and personal demons plagued the band. Ozzy himself spiraled, his public persona swinging wildly between chaos and charm. But through it all, the music endured. And the music won. Decades passed. Lineups changed. Genres evolved. But the roots of heavy metal always traced back to Birmingham, and to that first thunderous Sabbath riff. Ozzy's solo career brought him new heights, and new lows. Crazy Train, Mr. Crowley, and the notorious bat-biting incident only added to the myth. But beneath the spectacle was always the same boy from Birmingham, looking for his place in the world. And now, in 2025, that journey finds its final stage. Villa Park isn't just a venue. For Ozzy and Sabbath, it's sacred ground. A cathedral of noise and nostalgia, filled with fans who have walked beside them across the decades. Some were there in the beginning. Others found the music in the dark corners of their teenage bedrooms. But all will stand together as the last note fades into the night. What will the setlist be? No one knows for sure. But what's certain is that every chord will carry the weight of history. And Ozzy, battered yet unbroken, will stand once more in the spotlight. Not as the Prince of Darkness. Not as the madman of metal. But as a son of Birmingham, saying goodbye. This isn't just his story. It's the story of countless fans who found a voice in Sabbath's roar. Of musicians inspired to pick up guitars and start bands in their own garages. Of a city that turned its hardships into anthems. Black Sabbath taught the world that even from struggle, something powerful can rise. That even in darkness, there is music. And now, as they gather for the final bow, there is gratitude. Gratitude for the journey, for the scars, for the triumphs. Gratitude for the music that will outlive them all. Ozzy's health battles in recent years have made this moment all the more poignant. Parkinson's disease, surgeries, and countless hospital stays could not silence him. His body may have faltered, but his spirit never did. The world watched as he stumbled, and cheered as he rose again. Time and again. And now, in Birmingham, they will watch him rise one last time. It's fitting, really. Metal was never about perfection. It was about resilience. About taking pain and making it loud enough to shake the world. So on July 5th, the amps will hum, the lights will burn, and thousands of voices will unite in one final celebration. And when the final riff fades, when the crowd falls silent, and the stage lights dim, one truth will remain: Black Sabbath changed everything. Ozzy will leave the stage. But his story, his music, will never leave us. For Birmingham, this isn't just a concert. It's a homecoming, a farewell, a victory. And for Ozzy Osbourne, it's a closing chapter worthy of the legend. Thank you, Birmingham. Thank you, Sabbath. Thank you, Ozzy. The end is only the beginning. Metal forever.